Broncos country, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. I'm back. Still working on that part two, Michael Penix. Sorry about that, but that film room's coming. But I wanted to go ahead and talk today about a really interesting top 30 visit that the Broncos had today. And I think this was kind of manifested by our friends over at Let's Talk Broncos. I'll leave the video in the description. But this is funny stuff. They were doing a mock Zach and Joey Warrior yesterday. At the end of the draft, they say, screw it, go with David White. It was kind of like a meme, kind of like a joke. And what happens? We hear today that the Broncos had a top 30 visit with David White. I'm going to dive into this. Y'all be sure to hit that like. Let me know your thoughts on this player, other potential late round sleepers in the comments, and hit that subscribe. We're on our way to 500. But let's go ahead and get into it. So I've talked a little bit about this on some of my videos about how I think that it's really important that we trade back, ideally get some more picks, because we need a handful of players to come in here at a ton of different positions, and wide receivers one where I feel like we definitely need some young juice in there. Of course, Marvin Mims is going to take a little bit of a leap this year, I think, not having Jerry Jeudy in front of him. But outside of that, we don't really have anyone else that has a little bit of draft capital, some investment on that end that is on this roster that we're like, yes, they can ascend and eventually become a starter for this team. But this is really interesting, guys. We have possibly, could this be a guy in the mold of a Michael Thomas, a bigger slot guy that can actually line up at all the different wide receiver positions, but that includes slot, a bigger guy. And I've done some research on him today because I was really fascinated about why are the Broncos having this late round guy in their top 30 visit. Probably trying to get a better look at him because measurables, 6'4", 200 pounds, senior, okay. Originally started at Valdosta State, his college career, that is. That's Division II, and then came up to play at Western Carolina University, which I believe is FCS. It didn't have the best stats, but again, sometimes, especially in FCS, you don't really got quarterbacks that can really throw the ball super well. And yeah, you see 28 receptions this year. Before that, 20 receptions. But hey, the yards per reception is really nice, 15.9 and 18.8, 5 touchdowns, but 6'4". And from what I have read and listened to regarding his Shrine Bowl, he really stood out the Shrine Bowl because not only of his size, I mean, 6'4", 200 pounds, that's wonderful, but the fact that he has the shiftiness that reportedly he was very, very good in all of his releases and breaks, getting off the line, all of that. And we know that that can be a struggle for rookie wide receivers. So again, he hasn't played at the Power 4 level, but the fact that he was able to do this at the East-West Shrine Bowl, that could be an indicator that there is some promise there, right? Look at this contested catch rate, 66.7. That's wonderful. Again, didn't have a ton of targets, not a ton of production, which is why he's more of like a day 3 guy, I would imagine. But hey, if we take a look at this article that CBS had on the top 25 small college prospects to keep your eye on for this year's NFL draft, David White comes in ranked at number 10. They said White was so impressive during the Hula Bowl, he earned an invite to the Shrine Bowl and replicated the same impressive week there. So he was in 2 draft bowls. A physical freak, White easily wins the off the bus look, but also with his game. He's got top tier explosiveness and acceleration, consistently showing the mastery in the intermediate and deep levels of the field. Does that not sound like a little bit like Michael Thomas in the intermediate part of the field, right? And again, from what I've listened to a little bit and seen, he could be that Michael Thomas type prototype guy, keep saying type, that we could put in the middle of the field or in the slot and have him run over the middle of the field. He can make those tough catches. He has the body to do it, and it seems like he's got the fluidity and quickness for it to work as well. So here's a photo of David White Jr., by the way. I was trying to find some highlights of him on Twitter to no luck. I did have trouble sharing like other YouTube video highlights like I did last time, so maybe I'll try and see if I can find some film on him and then do a little bit of a breakdown. But y'all go take a look at him, man. I think that he definitely has some promise. And hey, if we are going to draft, for instance, like Ray Davis in the third round or something like that, or we're going to go after Trevondre Sweat in the third round if we pick a quarterback earlier in the draft, we might just be taking our wide receivers later in the draft, and that's totally cool. Let's go Luke McCaffrey in the 5th. Let's get somebody like David White in the 5th or the 6th round or the 7th round. But my guess with his measurables is he's going to be drafted before that 7th round. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. I thought that this was really interesting that the Broncos are using one of their top 30 visits on this guy. And again, shout out to Joey Richards and Zach Seegers for literally manifesting this. So y'all let me know your thoughts. Who else should the Broncos keep their eye on? But also, I got to do a video on Ray Davis here at some point because that's very interesting. One of the commenters told me to take a look at him last week. I've watched some highlight reels. Really impressive running back. Got great vision, but that's for another video. Y'all be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like and subscribe as well. I'll see you again tomorrow, Broncos country. And as always, go Broncos.